The island is everything, not metaphor, the literal structure of the world. The island, the water around it, and nothing else. You are 23 and have never questioned this because there is nothing to question. The jungle provides food, the reef fish, the rainwater. Your people number perhaps 60. You know each person by face and voice and the way they move through undergrowth. You know the island the same way. Each tree, each path, each section of beach where the sand changes. This morning, you woke before light and walked to the northern point. You can see furthest across the water from there. Not ritual, not duty. A habit developed after the first time you saw one of the large water things moving across the horizon 4 years ago. Since then, you watch. The water thing appeared 3 times in those 4 years, always far, always moving on. You told yourself you were prepared. Now it has come closer, and you are not sure prepared is the right word for what you are. Your father told you what the elders told him. Things come from the water and must be driven away. Not because they are evil, but because they carry something invisible that kills. When you were 7, 3 people became sick in a way nobody had seen. 2 died. The elders said this came from a time before your father's father, when the water things came and took some of your people and brought them back sick. And then the sickness moved through the group like fire through dry grass. You understand this now. You have watched the water things for 4 years, and you know they are not part of this world. Your job, the job of every person here, is to make sure whatever they carry never reaches the shore. Not cruelty, the only rule that has kept your people alive across more generations than anyone can count. The elders said your bodies are young wood, strong but not hardened against fire. The pale ones are the fire. Keep them away. This is what you were told. This is what you believe. The large water thing appeared 2 mornings ago, not on the horizon, much closer. Close enough to see it had no fins and moved with steadiness nothing alive moves with. You ran back and told the men. By the time the group gathered, something smaller had separated from it and moved toward shore. This smaller thing had a person in it, pale, the color of something that has never been in the sun, making sounds you did not recognize as language. The older men did not hesitate. You took your position on the beach. The pale person stopped at a distance and held something up, flat, rectangular, not food, not a weapon, nothing with a name in your language. You kept your arrow nocked. You watched. The pale person set the object down and paddled away. You stayed until it was back with the large water thing. Then you waited. You had prepared for this moment. Now it was here, and it was different from how you imagined. The pale person did not look like a threat. That was the part that confused you. That night, the oldest man spoke for a long time. You listened for the shape of what he was saying, the direction of his meaning. He said the pale ones have come before, across more generations than anyone can count. He said they always come back. He said the last time they came close, someone went with them, willingly, curious, and never returned. Others who went near them became sick. The rule is not cruelty, it is survival. You have 60 people. One sickness could take half in a season. Your bodies have no resistance to what the pale ones carry. The elder said your bodies are young wood, strong, but not hardened against fire. The pale ones are the fire. Keep them away. You understood this. You had always understood it. What you did not understand, lying awake after the fire went out, was why they kept coming back after being driven away every time. That question had no answer in any story you had been told. You turned it over in the dark for a long time before sleep came. The second morning, they came again. Same smaller water thing, same pale person, rectangular object held forward. A boy came out of the trees and walked to the water shouting, the sound you make to drive animals from food stores. Warning, not aggression. The pale person stopped. The boy kept shouting. One of the older men raised his bow and released. The arrow hit the rectangular object. The pale person looked at the arrow in it for a long time, then paddled back. You watched through the whole day. The large water thing did not move. This had not happened before. Usually they left after the first warning. This one stayed. That night, you could not sleep. Not fear, exactly. The sensation of a rule being tested by someone who did not know the rule existed. You kept returning to the pale person's face when the arrow hit. Not fear, not anger. The face of someone who was continuing anyway. You understood continuing against all sense. You were not prepared for someone who would continue here. On the third morning, the pale person was already on the beach. He had come in during the early dark, before you were at your post. You moved through the trees and saw him clearly at close range. Thinner than the men of your group, standing looking toward the jungle. Not the face of threat, not the face of fear. You had seen that expression once on a young man from your own group who walked into jungle where he was not supposed to go. The face of someone who had decided and stopped being afraid of the decision. You watched from the trees. He could not see you. He held the rectangular object to his chest and moved his lips. Then the others came out of the trees on both sides, and you knew what came next. The decision had not been made in that moment. It had been made in all the mornings at the North Point, all the stories around the fire, across all the generations before you. You were not deciding. You were completing something decided before you were born. You have thought about his face many times since. Not with regret. The action was correct, and everyone present understands this. But his face stays with a specificity that other things do not. He saw you come out of the trees. He looked at you, not running, not raising his hands, just looking with that same expression, the face that had decided. You wonder at the North Point what he had decided, what he thought he was doing on this beach, what the rectangular object was. You will never know. There is no way to know. Not the language, not the context, not the framework for understanding. He came from somewhere you cannot imagine, with reasons you cannot access. Now he is part of the island in the same way everything else is. The sand and the trees and the rain, now also him. This does not feel comfortable to think. It also does not feel uncomfortable. It feels like the truth, which is usually neither. 3 days after, the large flying thing came. You've seen them before, too high to threaten, moving with the sound of enormous insects. This one came lower and circled above the beach. Several of your group raised bows, but the elder signaled to wait. You could see faces in it, small and pale, looking down, looking for him. You understood from the logic of it. One comes, one does not return, others come looking. The flying thing eventually moved north and disappeared. You waited at the tree line long after it was gone. The beach was quiet. The large water thing on the horizon was gone by the next morning. Then nothing, just the island and the water and the jungle. You had been prepared your entire life, and now it had happened, and the island was exactly the same as before. Only you were slightly different in a way you could not measure and could not describe to anyone because there were no words for it in your language, and probably no words for it in any language. You have thought about what they want. This question has stayed since the first time you saw the large water things at 19. They want something here. They keep coming back, which means they have not gotten it. You have discussed this with the younger men, talking at the end of the day. One thinks they want the island itself. Another thinks they want the people. You have a third idea you have not said aloud. You think they want to be let in, not to take anything, just to come here, to stand on this sand. You do not know why anyone would want that badly enough to return after being driven away. But they do. Every time, slightly different pale people, different water things, but the same wanting. Whatever they are looking for here, they have not found it. You are not sure they know what they are looking for. You are not sure anyone who keeps returning to a place that does not want them truly knows what they want. This morning, at the North Point, the water is empty, several weeks empty. You came anyway, out of habit. The sun rises behind you, and the light on the water is the color it is only at this time. Your language has no name for it, because your language names things that matter for survival, and this color, while real, does not feed anyone. The island is behind you. The water is ahead. Somewhere past the horizon is the place they come from. They will come back. They always come back. You will be here. The rule will be passed down as it always has been. You turn your back on the water. You walk into the jungle. The trees close around you, and the water disappears. And there is only the island, which is everything, which has always been enough. You do not look back. You have never needed to. Everything you need is ahead, in the green and the dark, and the smell of wet bark, and the sound of the jungle waking up around you.